What's up, Otega?
What up?
How are you?
I'm good.
How does it feel to see all this again?
Feels good. Feels good.
Am I getting to pull a little closer to the mics?
Yeah. After that.
How's it been to be back in Lexington?
It's been great. It's been great. This time of the year is always fun. Seeing the new faces and then, just being able to be back around, the coaches and just being in the environment is always fun.
For all of those, all of us who are not good enough to be a D1 athlete, to go what you've done, what have the last few months been like when you do this NBA tour and you're trying to get feedback?
Yeah.
Walk us through what they told you and what you learned about yourself, maybe.
No, it's been really fun. Just traveling around, the world, just, playing against top competition, and then obviously it's everyone's dream to play in the NBA, and then, to go through the process is really fun. But, I was just going out there competing, I was blessed to get invited to the combine and was able to go through that. So, learning all the stuff I learned there and then being able to come back, I feel like I could definitely use those type of things in my advantage, for sure.
Anything in particular that you picked up maybe that you're working on since someone told you about something?
Yeah, it's all, I'm just going to continue to work on my game. I feel like if I just continue to work on the things that I know I got to work on, and then on top of that, the conditioning and the stamina, at the next level, you have to be in really good shape. So, continue to work on that. And then, just mentality-wise, I feel like it wasn't just my only dream to, play in the NBA. It was a lot of other guys who was there working out too. So, the intensity that they were playing with, I feel like you have to keep that every single day. So I feel like I definitely learned that for sure.
Were you disappointed when you realized not that you have to come back to Kentucky, but I'm not quite ready for the league yet?
No, not at all. Because I still could have gone, but it was more of like I had one more year of eligibility, and then try and do the things that maybe I didn't get to complete last year, which was win national championships. So I feel like either decision I would have picked, I low-key would have been thinking about the other one, because one, like I said, I have one more year of eligibility, and I feel like we still have so much more to complete here.
We saw a great video of Pope reenacting his reaction to when you told him the news. What was your reaction getting to actually tell him? What was that like for you?
Nah, it was dope. Because from being honest, I want to say 3 days before, maybe 2 days, I already knew what it was. So I was just waiting to the last workout, to tell him. But, it was great just finally getting off my chest, and then, just having that moment with him, talking with him, and seeing the genuine excitement. So,
yeah.
Since you've been back, you've been around the guys. What's it been like? What do you think about these guys that you have in this team?
Yeah, it's been great. We started clicking really quickly. I guess everyone knows that when it's a new team, you gotta click really fast. So, we haven't started workouts yet, but we've seen everybody in the gym every single day, multiple times a day. So that's always a good sign. And then, the characteristics of the group. I feel like Coach Pope does a good job of recruiting good guys. So you like being in the locker room.
With every start of every new season, I think everybody wonders, how do new guys check their ego at the door at a new level with old guys like you, and how do they genuinely come into this program and realize there's one basketball and I'm not going to play 40 minutes a game?
Yeah, some people realize it, some people don't, but it's the people who realize it quicker that they end up doing really well throughout the season. And on top of that, if you have an ego coming in, we're gonna practice every day, maybe 2 times a day. So we're gonna be competing a lot, and then, you're gonna see there who's ready, who's not. So it's just, all that comes down to just competing and then seeing who's ready. Right?
How different has it been for you these first few days compared to last year when you were one of many new guys and there were so many seniors and now you're obviously a veteran leader?
Yeah, it's a little different, but I'm trying to just, grow into the role that I have this year. I'm not obviously I missed the guys from last year for sure, but since, like you said, I've been here, so now I know what it takes. I'm looking down the road now, really. So, just taking it slowly and, building that relationship, because that's going to be the main thing. You got to have a relationship with the people you're playing with. So, just trying to step up and take that leadership role and just, communicating with all the guys.
Does it feel different to have, 3 or 4 other guys back where it's not a completely new team like last year?
Yeah, it's definitely a good feeling because, you got a couple guys that you already have that kind of close-knit bond with, but they also understand, what it takes and what you have to do to, be successful here. And, a lot of guys may not be ready for, what comes with, playing for Kentucky basketball, but, you know, when you have multiple guys that's been here, you know, you could kind of ease that for them, really.
What do you expect? You're older, you're bigger, you're stronger. You're also now, you're older school-wise. Now you have to be the leader. You ready to take that role?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like everything happens for a reason. So I mean, I'm here my senior year, so I gotta step up and take that role, even if I'm not comfortable with it. But I definitely am. So, you know, I'm excited for this new challenge. I've always been usually the youngest guy or one of the younger guys on the team, but now I'm a senior, so it's crazy. But yeah, I'm definitely excited.
Did you become more vocal over the course of last season, especially like when Lamont goes down and when some of those other veterans were hurt?
Yeah, definitely. I used to always just want to lead by example, but you know, Coach Pope and even the older guys, they made it a huge thing to not just lead by example. You got to be vocal because not everybody can always do what you're doing. You know, when you're leading by example. So, you know, just trying to step out your comfort zone and you know, making things work.
You talked about the young guys learning what it takes to play Kentucky basketball. You learned that.
Yeah.
What are they learning? What are they going to have to learn that you already know?
Yeah, you just got to stay even keel. Don't get too high, too low, because it's a long season. And then, obviously, you know, with the fan base, it's the best and the biggest fan base in the country. So, you know, what comes with that is, you know, you playing good, you playing bad, someone's going to have something to say. So you just can't let anything get to your head. And then just always work on the things that, you know, you can control, which is your energy, attitude, and your skill set, obviously.
How much did you follow Kentucky's roster building efforts while you were going through the process? And did you know any of the guys beforehand?
Yeah, I followed it. I mean, every commit, every visit, I knew what it was. So I didn't know anybody personally, but I knew who everyone was. I watched them play throughout the season, but now I feel like I know them really well. So.
Played against some of them too. Any memories of playing against Zell or Muhammad or anything?
Yeah, I was Mo. Obviously, he's a physical, big. So, you know, I was excited when we got him. I thought that was a really good get, and I think he's gonna help us a lot. You know, what he brought to Alabama was, you know, that toughness and that grit. So, I feel like that's always good to have. And then, you know, Zell, he came off a ring. He's fresh off a ring, so I know what he is. He was a solid PG. You know, he's going to bring that calmness to our group. So.
When you look at the depth of this team, at least right now, we saw what kind of lack of depth in certain spots could do to a ball club when Lamont goes down. What do you see out of the numbers that you guys have coming in?
Sure, I see like 14, 15 guys that could play. So I mean, you love that really. We have multiple guys each position. I feel like those are the teams that do best in March and, you know, just throughout the whole season because, you know, you can switch up lineups. You know, you can keep teams uncertain of what you're going to do. So, I mean, we have a lot of talent and, you know, it's going to be really fun.
Coach has said year one to year two in his system, routinely, players have really improved. What are you looking forward to when it comes to getting better in year two under Mark Pope?
I'm excited. You know, just continuing to grow my game in his system. You know, I remember him saying that he wants to shoot like, I think it was 35 threes a game, and we didn't get to that last year. So I know this year he's definitely gonna, you know, push that agenda. So for me, that just means shooting more, and you know, I'm excited for that, just to continue to better my game. And I feel like that'll help me at the next level too.
What was the feedback you got from NBA teams about your three-point shot, whether it be volume or mechanics, or just what they want to see from you there?
They really just wanted to see me take more because my percentage was good both years. It was just the volume. So they really just wanted to see me take more. And then in terms of mechanics, it's more of like, if you're getting it off, it's fine. And I've been getting it off. So, you know, for me, I've been, that was the thing that everyone was going to say. But now I'm ready to go back and, you know, work on the things that they're doing.
It's like you mentioned 2 or 3 days before your last workout, you kind of knew you were going to come back. Was there a moment or conversation where it hit you, okay, this is the move I'm going to make?
No, not really. It was just, you know, going through the process and then, you know, just seeing and hearing where, you know, teams will take you. It's like, if I have one more year, you know, I can just go back and improve that stock. And on top of that, you know, if I go back and we win the whole thing, you know, everyone wins. So, you know, that was kind of the biggest thing for me. And it just really felt like we had unfinished business.
A lot of fans noticed that your hair was long in that video versus what was the story behind that?
I want to say, like, I came back from vacation, and like 2 days after, I started my pre-draft training, and our video guy, I don't think he's here anymore, so, you know, he wanted to just do, you know, one last little piece, and, you know, just in case, you know, now I'm back, so I needed that video really, so, you know, it was good for him that, he said we should just shoot one just in case you do decide to come back. If you don't, hey, it's okay. But that was just a case type of thing.
Did you film a goodbye one as well, or just a?
I did it. No, I didn't film it. I did it.
Well, speaking of the haircut, was it deliberate or is it just a hairstyle?
Just a hairstyle. Well, it was kind of both. I wanted to just try something new, a new era kind of thing. I had dressed for like 4 years, so it's still my game back, but I just want to try something new.
Going back to the 3-point shot and the jump from year 1 to year 2, how much of that with Pope is comfortability? And we saw like Jackson last year seemed super comfortable right out of the gate, and everybody else was kind of catching up to him. Is that something you expect to make a stride into?
I've been working a lot just individually, and I feel like as well with being in Coach Pope's system and the confidence that he puts in his players, it's mainly you. And just how comfortable you are, and you put the work in. So now it's like I know what I have to do. Like I know this is what's gonna push me to that next level. So it's just me going out there and do it, really, regardless if the system fits it or not. I just gotta go out there and do it.
Talk about Denzel. How much have you seen of Jalen Lowe, and whether it be video or watching games of his?
No, I've seen a lot, and then obviously just working out, playing ones with the guys and stuff like that. It's been really fun. Like, both of them, I feel like they'll really complement each other well because J Lo's a quick, shifty, speedy guard, and then Denzel, he's calm, smooth. So it'll give defenses like two different kind of styles they got to guard. So.
Brandon said, trying to make it to the NBA just like everyone else on the team, and the conversations you had with him kind of going through the process helped a lot. What were some of those conversations? What were some of those things you were telling him about, hey, you got to do this if you really want to play in the big leagues?
Most of it was really me just telling him my experience and what I see. And, for him, it's, mentality-wise, you just got to be a pro, you just always got to be going, like 100%. Workouts, rehab, recovery, it's like you gotta take everything serious, and then on top of that, it's just just the will. If you want to get there, you gotta put in the work, and then there's so many guys who want to be in the league, so you gotta beat out those guys if you want to make it and stick. So it's really just the mentality aspect that we were talking about all summer, really.
Have you ever shown you? You've been asked about so many questions about what the feedback you got about where you need to improve, but where are the places they already said, hey, we really like what you've already shown?
Yeah, my intensity, my motor, my ability to just rack up points just throughout the game, regardless of what it is, and then obviously my defense. I got a lot of good praise for sure, but with that also comes things you got to work on, and then just got to continue to work my playmaking, shooting, all those things, and everyone said they like my game and like what I could bring to the table, but now it's just continuing to better those things.
Do you feel like you kind of step into Lamont's role as the leader and the voice of this team with all the experience that you have?
Yeah, Lamont was one of the leaders for sure. I'm definitely gonna have to be one of the leaders, but I'm gonna do it in my own way, really. So.
How will your own way manifest itself?
Definitely be vocal, but also, be a little intense. I feel like that's kind of my thing. Like, I like talking a lot in terms of like smack and stuff like that. So it's gonna challenge people to really have that chip on their shoulder.
How nice will it be to be playing with Mo instead of against Mo?
Oh, it's gonna be lovely. I know what he brings, and I didn't like playing against him, if I'm being honest. So I know he's gonna have that same effect on other people on other teams. So it's gonna be great, and he's a good guy too. So.